All right, happy new year and welcome back to Jebb and Greencast, everybody. We are back finally. I'm
Woo!
Tyler Green. With me, as always, is Vinyl Man Jebb.
Hello, hello.
And we have our first returning guest. You remember when he first appeared on the show in 2018 when we were the Alternative Dudes podcast. From the Colourflies, please welcome Matt Legard. Matt, welcome back, man. How are you?
Hello. Good morning.
It's
Morning.
great to
Yeah,
have you
it's
back,
early
man.
for you.
Especially since Jebb's here for this one, because last
Yeah.
time he wasn't.
That's right. No Jebb last time.
Oh, it was just Tyler. That's right.
Yeah, it happens, but this time we're making it a vow for this year to have all of us on.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so last we talked, you were working on the Colorflies album. How's that turning out?
It's in developmental hell,
Oh no.
but
Ah, yeah.
we persist. No, it's fine. It's good. We wrapped up our last session with Ken. He's going to be mixing here this month, and we're in a pretty good spot, it seems, as of right now, for it to actually come out, the sophomore slump record.
Nice.
Awesome.
Is there anything you can tell us about the new album, or?
Yeah, I can tell you anything you want to know, except for the title. No, I think I think we can talk about the title now. But yeah, it's a crazy record from start to finish, and it's actually
Here's the title, everyone. Crazy record.
crazy record, start to finish. Crazy horse.
Yeah,
It's
right.
actually two records sort of, because we're, for the first time, we're doing a vinyl, and the vinyl has
Wow.
alternate
Awesome.
material, and the CD has alternate material as well. It's
Ooh,
the
sweet.
CD
cool.
is more of the art concept, and so the even cooler thing is that we're talking to our label, and we were saying how much extra stuff we have. I mean, if we wanted to finish the record now and put it out, we have enough to do that, but it doesn't really satisfy the concept of what we want to do with the record. So what we're gonna do is also a cassette.
Oh,
So
cool.
a cassette tape
Oh,
with
nice.
even
Retro.
more alternate material.
Oh, this is awesome.
And most of the cassette stuff we are recording at home. So we've been Devin
cool.
and I have been engineering that and going ahead with that stuff.
Sweet.
So that's
That
pretty
is so
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that
When do you
is.
think,
That's awesome.
when do you anticipate the everything coming out?
Well, so we were supposed to finish tracking in this month, and that's probably not going to happen. So maybe, I have no idea now. It was supposed to come out in June, but maybe it'll be later now. I don't know.
I mean, you guys have all the time in the world,
Yeah.
considering that at this point, time is just a concept.
Yeah, I don't even know what
We-
day it
yeah,
is.
I've lost all concept of time at this point. So
Yeah, I realized that time is just a concept that we believed in at one point, and now
Yeah, now it's. I don't even feel it. You know, like there's days you usually know what time it is when you wake up. You're like, all right, it's morning. I'm like, all right, waking up at like 12. What's up, guys? Like, what is this? God.
well, that's kind of the crazy thing about this record in recording at home and stuff like that. It'll be like Devin will set up microphones early in the morning, basically like 10 o'clock, and then by the end of the day it's 6. By the time we're done tracking, just even guitars or whatever we need to track, it's like the day's gone.
Yeah, it's for the first time I got to feel studio myself because I've been going in just with like trying to do something, and I'm like, oh, it's so different than what I thought. You go in and you're like,
Right.
I book for 5 hours, and I'm like, that's enough time. You only get like 2 songs done, but that's a normal thing, and it's like, wow, the time
Yeah.
just flies. It's nuts.
Yeah.
it's crazy too, because I remember what I was doing exactly before like shit hit the fan.
Mhm.
Was I remember what it was that we were in the middle of tracking a Blondie cover for one of my classes, and
What song?
we got hanging on the telephone.
Ooh,
Oh my
nice.
God,
The original
Such a- it
by
was
the
such a-
Nerves.
such a
Yeah, the
We
original
were
by
gonna
the
cover
Nerves.
that in the band as one of our
Oh,
covers.
yes.
Put out
Oh,
as a
yeah.
B-side. Love that song.
I'm gonna have to talk to my band about covering that, because we're actually gonna be covering
Was the
Dream All
one
Day at
across
some
the
point.
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my band have
Amazing.
been talking about
That's a
sort
good-
of
that's a good
turning
song.
Dream All Day into sort of like a bossa nova.
Ooh, all
kind
right.
of thing.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
we have a new singer, by the way, so we'll definitely have some stuff
Yeah.
out.
Keep
this
an eye out,
year.
guys,
That's
for
awesome.
that. You know, we got
Yeah.
We got a ton of Posies fans in this little corner here. When you mentioned Ken, it's the Ken, guys. It's the Ken.
Right, the one and the
The
only.
I'll be actually working with him on a song with John Hour as well. So that's a little tidbit for everybody too. So all of us got a little Posies action
Oh
here.
man, we can never.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We can never get enough Ken, man.
Oh
It's
no,
been
I'm
over
bummed.
over 10 years for me, man. I'm
Yeah.
still devoted.
I'm
as shit.
bummed because every year he comes to Connecticut for his Christmas show and he couldn't do it last year, because COVID. So I was like,
Oh,
it felt so
yeah.
alone.
God,
I was like,
thinking
damn.
about that.
I was like, because that's usually when I see him. That's when I got his shoes. I got his shoes last year,
At least he's still doing like the online shows, which is a great.
Yeah, which is
initiative.
awesome. I haven't been able to catch any of those because I'm weird. I'll do live streams myself, but I just don't feel it's the same. So I don't know. And then I also didn't have a lot of money, so there's another reason.
I haven't had the money either. It's just
But I always try to support Ken or John when I can. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. That's all you
Yeah.
can do, man.
And support your local musicians. That's why we got Matt on again, because we're like, hey, he's got a new record coming out, and like we gotta
I'm
get
here, but
the news.
I'm making
That's what
coffee.
this whole podcast is about.
Yeah.
Just supporting your local musicians, your
Yeah.
international musicians, everyone. man.
Everybody. I like how I read our description because I was trying to submit our show to iTunes, which is a hilarious situation here. I guess we can't submit it again because they rejected us once. So I'm like, great. So it's on everything but iTunes. But subscribers, if you're listening
Ooh.
here, you can manually, I believe, add it, I think, if you're able to see our RS feed number. I don't know if that's a private thing, so I'm not going to share that with the world in case that's like something you don't
Right.
share. But if it is, I'll look
Definitely.
into it. Stay tuned on our Facebook, and you can actually manually add us to your podcast app. If I figure out how to do that, I will definitely link a whole thing how to do it, so you guys could listen to from your podcast app. But we are on Spotify, and I think a lot of people use Spotify for podcasts anyway. So
Yeah.
That's a big
we're
one.
good. We're in good hands.
we're
I
Google
think.
Podcasts, Spotify, Rocket Cat, all the other anything Anchor puts us to. So thank you,
Okay,
Anchor.
well, that's pretty
Pocket Cast, definitely. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one I usually use.
That's a good one. I have to look into that one because I know we're on there. I just haven't looked at it. But yeah, so
I use a mix of that and Spotify. So
oh, cool. So Matt, I have a
Well,
question
it's cool
for
that it'd be
you.
available. It's cool to be available on Spotify and stuff like that.
Yeah,
pretty-
it's
Yeah,
fun
no.
too. I was like, I can go out to public and be like, this is our show. It's
Anchor
it makes
made
anybody feel
Anchor
like
has
they're
just
actually a
made
radio personality.
yeah, for
you know?
real.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anchor has just made it so easy for
Oh,
the
yeah.
both of us.
Oh yeah, love Anchor.
wonderful.
Hey,
So
if
what's
any-
the question?
So my question here for you is, would you be able to share any of the writing process behind one or two of those new songs?
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
perfect.
The basic normal process is I will write something, or Devin will write something, or maybe you'll write something, and it's just a basic idea, chords and such, and then we basically flesh it out at rehearsal, and kind of get it really tight, and then basically record it. That's the main thing that we do. And sometimes we have melodies already intact. Oftentimes I'll have a chorus or something like that already written for the song, but I kind of just basically take those ideas and try to write good lyrics to
I
them
got you,
and
yeah.
have good melodies for them. In a case of working with Ken, because I mean, we'd book multiple days with Ken,
Yeah.
so it'd be like, that the particular tunes that you're working on that Ken is excited about are pretty good ones. So we would save ones that were potential singles or maybe little snippets and stuff like that we could get like a good room sound for to go record with Ken. And that's basically how we kind of suss that material out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Matey had a bass line for a song, for example, and I played a little guitar intro figure to the song. It's called
Yeah.
Horseradish.
Ooh.
And the song went nowhere for months because no one wrote anything for it.
So just sad.
And then eventually
yeah.
we finished it,
yeah.
and then we recorded it with Ken. And
It's
that
fun when
was
songs sit like
the song.
that. Because I had a song
Yeah.
written for Ken that's going to be on the new album as well, and Tyler will be mixing this one, which is
Oh, okay.
searching on lines. Owen and I wrote that back in 2018, and it just sat. And Tyler, I think I remember telling you about it because we were going to have you, do drums, and we are still going to have you do drums for it.
Well, of
And it
course,
just
yeah.
sat. And it's cool when songs sit because you never know. Like at the moment, you're like, this is everything. This song is everything. We need to get this
Yeah.
out. But then it's
You
like,
feel
Yeah.
You definitely feel some responsibility for finishing the idea because you feel guilty that you created it. At least I do.
I've created this being, and it's not complete.
What have I done?
What have I done?
You know, we've thrown basically 4 album cycles of this record in particular away. So it's like,
Wow.
and that means $1,000 to plus or more studio sessions just in the garbage. Didn't use them at all. So
well, at
we're
least you
kind
could
of
always
striving
throw
for
them
some
out
sort of.
with songs wise. If you have like the recorded stuff, you could always somehow release later on if you ever feel like it. You know, which is the
exactly.
dedicated fans eat that up.
We have a lot of extra
Yeah.
material that that might get released at some point, but
oh, cool.
That's
awesome.
That's for a rainy day.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, like so I mean, we're striving for some sort of perfection on this record. I mean, this is the most exhausted I've ever been recording a record, and
I mean, this is gonna be a killer one. I can't wait for this. Damn.
Yeah.
When you hear the artist being exhausted, it'll be a killer record.
we pushed ourselves. It's pretty insane. And we have our normal band gripes with each other, so it's like, not like we don't necessarily get along or whatever, but you're in a car with somebody for 12 hours, whatever, and you have to get out and play music. It's a difficult situation.
It becomes like a family thing. When you're living with family for your whole life, there's bound to be arguments. And they're normal.
Right.
Sometimes you need like time aside.
Yeah.
Real brother and sister complex sort of stuff.
No wonder why the Beatles had their issues. They were forced together for a very long time.
Exactly. But the Beatles are a perfect example of that creative tension, creating the most incredible music that anybody's ever made.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So,
me and Michael Collins did a podcast about Revolver, and we talked about that as well over on the other
amazing
podcast
record.
I do. And it's probably, in my opinion, you can't just pick a Beatles album and be like, every Beatles album deserves a spotlight. It's so tough to pick my favorite one, but personally, Revolver is my top. And it was just so
Revolver's
cool.
your favorite?
Yes, but there's other ones that are right beside because there's just so many good albums. Like,
I would have to say the same.
I lean towards Rubber Soul and the White Album.
Oh, those two are great too.
Yeah, the White Album is like if you could distill our music into like all the influences that we like or whatever, this record is like our White Album.
Yeah. Cool. So it's raw, like in a sense, like it's the personal side.
Exactly it. There's hyper produced things on the record, and then there's like
so cool
there's like conversations that the band has that we taped and are gonna put on there.
Oh hell yeah! I love that stuff.
That's the whole
I'm a
thing. Is
sucker
like
for that stuff.
With the CD concept, there are these little snippets in between songs. Some songs are in the same key as other songs and merge into each other.
Oh my god!
It's that's a real art concept for that. And then the vinyl is more right to it. Like, let's get to it.
That is so cool that it's like the same album, but you're doing that's unique. I don't know if many people have done that. I recall.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Is I don't think I've ever heard a record necessarily like that. It's almost like a rap mixtape.
Yeah, right.
Like it reminds me more of a hip hop mixtape in that way, because you'd have little skits and stuff like that, or little, not skits, but you know what I mean.
Well, Kanye West did that, I think, or not. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he did that with the early.
There's classic Public Enemy records that do that too.
Oh,
you know. So, but that's
cool.
the concept for the CD, is these songs that are in the same key, that are intros to other songs and stuff in between, and little like sound collage stuff. And then the vinyl is basically it's a rock record that's like really rocking, but then it has strings on it. There's a song called Dismay that has almost like a quartet of strings on it. And then towards the end of the vinyl, we had this concept where it would just be me playing 2 acoustic songs. It kind of like the concept is it's like a play. And then that's me like saying this is me at the end of it. And the band, I don't have the band to hide behind anymore, so I'm sensitive, kind of dopey.
In a sense,
me.
where your friend Jebb was going too with our stuff. We had that because this is really cool. Oh wow, I'm
Yeah.
majorly inspired here. Wow.
Kind of
And
like
then the
that
last-
Back to School album the Lemon Twigs did.
That too.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's a pretty good example. And then the last song is like the band rejoins, and it's not a reprise or whatever, but it's just a rejoining,
Yeah,
and then
I got you.
the vinyl ends.
Cool.
And the cassette concept is kind of like heavy, silly, dopey, dreamy. Is what we're kind of thinking around that.
I love it.
That would be
I
an
love that.
incredible album name, by the way.
Yeah.
Heavy,
saying.
silly, dopey,
Dopey
dreamy.
Dreamy. I just have a
Yes.
picture of Dopey, you know, like or what's
Dopey
his...
Dreamy is actually a pretty good album title.
That'd
We
be a
always
good
come up
band
with
name.
that. Yeah, it would.
Yeah,
I
Dopey
think the other
Dreamy's
day we came up with a side band, either a side band name or an
Cool.
album called Appointed Floozies.
Ooh.
Okay.
So we'll
Ooh.
see.
See, like when I do this song "Cornered Room" with John and Ken, I'm having them do extra takes, so they do the lead vocals. So like we have like separate versions of it, so Posies fans can eat
Bro.
it up. Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm paying
Yeah.
some money to do this because I really want to do this. I want to try. So there's the vocal take that'll be on the regular album. I'm releasing an album
Right.
with that on there, but then there'll be the single "Cornered Room." So you guys have a little spotlight here.
Yeah.
Little extra news here. That they'll have like the tracks. And then there'll be one with John, one with Ken, and then both of us will do, reverse roles and everything. So
Right.
hopefully they're okay with that. I want to make sure, they should be, but I want to make sure before I release. Of course, we're out of respect
Yeah,
and
definitely.
everything. But if I can do it, which would be sick, it'd be cool to do an album because I've already worked with Frankie Saragusa. You did a review for Isolated 2. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was awesome.
Amazing drummer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amazing. Everything.
Great producer.
Absolute
Oh,
beast
yeah.
of a drummer.
He So Ken did some singing on our record.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
As well. And we recently confirmed that Greg Richling from the Wallflowers, the bass player, is going to sing on a track with me.
Oh
Whoa.
my god.
That's
Dude,
Bob
that's
Dylan's son
amazing.
band, right?
That's right, Bob
yeah.
Dylan's son's band.
Oh, that's sick.
That band is really influential to Mady and I.
That's awesome.
Like when we first started playing, those were songs we were playing.
That's supposed to be a dream. That's
Oh my
like
God, that
that's
is
when you wake up
so
in the
cool.
morning and it's like, holy shit, I love making music.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Because when
I
I
know, yeah.
started working with John, I was like, at first it was such a rush of an emotion when I finally have him working on the songs, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, I'm working with John Hour. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ken.
I mean,
too
that's the thing. You wake up
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I've done multiple studio sessions with people I admire.
admire
It's-
and
you
look,
kind of,
forward.
you
to
kind of
seeing.
stand beside yourself at some point, but
Yeah, and then and then you write this and it's like I love your stuff. I love the stuff that you sent so far. Checked you guys out. Guys, check out the Colourflies on Spotify. Definitely. We'll leave
Yeah.
links down below. Matt, link everything you want me to put in the YouTube video. We'll link it down below. We'll get that
Absolutely.
going. And then on Spotify, I believe if you just check the chat, you can see it. But if you want to get all the links, guys, and you're listening on Spotify, head over to our YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Of course, I'm going to throw that out there. And and then click on the video that you just listened to, and the link should all be in the description. That's how we usually been doing it. We don't have a website or anything because hosting a website's
and
expensive.
I had a conversation with Mady too, our bass player, and
Mm-hmm.
she was basically like, the whole idea of doing the cassette with our label saying, oh, let's
Yeah.
do a cassette too. It's like, that's like legacy inducing stuff because that stuff will be online forever,
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff will be available for people and fans to hear. And if
what's
you don't want to
cool
listen
is
to one of the records, that's fine, but
yeah,
it'll be there.
What's cool is that also it's really cool that you guys are doing like the 3 different versions is because now you're leaving fans to kind of want to collect them in a sense.
Yeah.
Collect them all to get a different experience.
That wasn't our master plan or anything, but I
Yeah.
mean, we will be doing like special edition. Some of the
Oh, that's
vinyl
cool.
will have certain artwork, some of it won't.
Keep
some
us
of it,
posted. We'll share everything you got to the Jebb and Green page, so you got at least a little bit of our followers checking it out too.
We'll
Yeah.
boost it. We'll boost it left and right.
Yeah, I'll
so.
make sure. And
Wonderful.
I'll shout it out on Jebb's music and try to see as much as I can
Yeah,
do.
this is the most dynamic the band's ever been. This is the most
Awesome.
song crafted the band's ever been.
I mean, hey, we love
we've
Ken,
had-
so
Yeah, Ken's amazing.
Who doesn't?
But that's the thing is when Ken tells you that a song is like, hey, I remember potentially we had the song and he was like,
Mhm.
I remember I have it like in writing where he was just like, oh, that's kind of like a hit. Like that's
Whoa.
the sort of thing where you're like, oh, wow, okay. And then you kind of like, then you strive to hit that level every time. You try to knock it out of the park
Yeah.
every time. And it's stressful, but
It is.
I mean, that's the thing is our label's like, hey, this thing could actually debut on the Billboard charts, and
I
we
hope
could
it
really
does,
actually
damn it.
get radio play.
I hope
some
it
of
does.
these songs. I mean, when you have that confidence
Oh yeah.
in your record,
We need
from
more
your
artists
label
like
and
you out there that are doing this, that are paving the way for us young, like trying to, not younger, younger is the wrong term, but trying to follow in the path, because honestly, it's like, it's really tough for bands nowadays to make that breakthrough album. Where it used to be something that like a million times, like in the 60s, there was just too many bands you could listen to, 70s, too many things. Nowadays, it's like...
the sub Beatles and...
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing is, like, I think that, as lucky as we've been, we've put in the effort. I think a lot of people don't necessarily put themselves out there as much as we do, and we've taken a lot for that, because we seem like corporate whores or whatever, but
who cares? We're getting our music.
Dev and I were talking about just the other day, you got to play the game.
Yeah, you have to. That's another thing too. I hate the term selling out, because guess what? If you're making money and you're making yourself happy making music, there's no wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with and you have to play the game. Like you just said, you have to, because it's the only way. Like, I'm working on building a business right now.
You got to sell T-shirts. We just sold. I mean, we're almost sold out of our new T-shirts.
Oh, the one with the star? That's the
Star one.
Oh, link us down below. We'll put that in our chat too. And if you sell out, we'll just we'll let people know in the link there that it's sold out.
I think we'll order more. We're gonna do more designs with the Star.
Sweet. Yeah, but you got to sell merch. It's the only way. Really, you got to sell merch. Bandcamp is great too. You get your records out there, and you get the money. Spotify, you don't get a lot. You don't really. The play is kind of a joke until you reach a certain level. Then it's like, okay, you got to be on there. But it's like,
what is it like for every million streams you get $18,000 or something? I don't know.
It's nuts though. It's like it sounds 8, great, but it should be more, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean we're greedy. It's just a sense is that Spotify is not paying their artists well, and that's something I will. Right. But hey, we're on podcast on Spotify. Thank you for hosting our podcast.
Yeah, but that's the thing is you leverage the platform, because the platform is what's. You wouldn't be able to speak your voice if it weren't for the platform. So what they do is leverage the amount that they can pay you, because they're like, oh, without us, you're not reaching anybody.
You can't. How else? Because YouTube is dying too, in a sense, and YouTube's a tough algorithm to really get used to. With if you get a certain we get a lot of views all of a sudden out of nowhere for older episodes that we have, like for this podcast, which is great. Hey, the alternative dude's hitting it up again. And it's also based. I think we might have some actual listeners that listen to I know Owen does. Shout out to Owen Radford. I know Owen listens to our podcast completely from the beginning. Has heard every episode, stuff like that. But I don't know if we have a dedicated fan base, and if we do, shout out to everyone. We love you guys. But
thank you.
I wonder if we have more of something where we do an episode. Like, say we're doing an episode with you. Your fans come over to us because they hear that, these guys are pretty cool. Maybe we'll check out one of their other episodes. But most of the time, it's usually somebody just comes over to hear the artist that they like, and that's perfectly fine. We love that. And that's why I kind of do a variety. I actually tried to get in contact with an actress to see if she would like to be on here, to kind of even put our outreach even more. Because it'd just be interesting to kind of reach out to different things, and and then Tyler does his own podcast on his own, which is awesome. I think the theme song might have my guitar in it.
It does, yeah. Shout out to my new podcast channel, KRT, where the theme song of that was done by your friend Jebb. So go check that out. And go give your friend Jebb some love, guys.
Yeah, check out your friend Jebb too, guys.
Appreciate it.
We got a new single coming out this year, believe it or not. Tyler, that's we're gonna have Mindy and Yak come out this year, which is awesome. Those are I think we just need bass on those, so that's something fun to do.
Stay tuned, y'all.
Stay tuned.
Right.
Tyler will be mixing those. But it's just cool to be able to reach out to these artists. I mean, I messaged Graham Nash the other day, the Graham Nash, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen.
How?
But I didn't get in contact with him or anything. I just saw his Instagram, and I was just like, this is how I met Ken. I just reach out, But we have guests lined up.
That's the thing. So many people are afraid to reach out.
Exactly.
I don't know what they're afraid of. But
I understand if you hey, don't talk. I would be so afraid to message Paul McCartney. I'm trying to reach him right now because I want to talk about the new album. You don't know.
Exactly.
One lonely night, he could pull up his phone and go, you know what? I want to go on there.
Yeah.
And it's you never know.
You never know what could happen.
You never know.
Out of all the experiences I've ever had that are being around whatever people that people admire, famous people or whatever. If I hadn't taken those chances, it wouldn't have happened,
it's like my dad always like, oh, you know, when I go to shows or something, and it's funny that my dad's like always backing me up and everything, but it's funny because like sometimes he's like, well, don't ask Ken that, like don't bother him. Well, the minute I asked Ken if I could, like, I literally brought my guitar with me up to one of his solo shows so he can sign it. I got to sing September Girls with him. So it was something that, you know, usually people don't ask. It's like, oh, it's kind of rude, you know. Well, some artists it might be. You have to feel the room. Everything, again,
you have to read the room.
You have to read the room, because if you don't read, then it's like you look like an ass, you know. But if you, like Ken is just, it's just something about him that it's just like he cares for his fans so much. I remember an article popping up about somebody's review of the Posies, and we all went haywire on it. We were like, that's not them now. They put so much support for their fans.
Ken spoke out about it too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just...
I remember he, after one of the shows here in my city, he invited me back to the hotel, and I was hanging out with John and him and obviously Dave. And they were just talking about, you know, whatever, like celebrities talk about.
Yeah,
they're
real people, guys.
Hanging out with Winona Ryder and I don't know. I didn't try to be witty or bang or anything. I just sat there and listened because I was like, what am I going to say? You know? So, I mean,
you're in like the room of like gods here, you know?
I know. I mean,
the table.
In an alternative sense for us, yeah. That's exactly it. It's like,
you know, a lot of people I ask, they don't really know the Posies, but if you know certain people, they're a group among that like really broke it, really made it, and it was like, holy shit!
Like they really changed everything for not just me, but Jebb and really just the three of us. I think.
Yeah, actually, the three of us. That's why we're nerding now. I know. You guys probably turned into our podcast. Oh God, another episode about the Posies. It's like no, you know, it's like.
Hey, you know, I owe the Posies more than I can possibly.
Same here.
That's just a fact.
Oh man,
without a doubt.
I don't know if I told you guys yet, but we were recording the last day of the session we were recording last time. I had a 1996 Posies shirt.
Ooh.
And I was telling the band, oh, I'm gonna wear this when we record. It'll be funny. Ken will just be like, oh, nice shirt, right? So I walk in the studio the second day, and he's like, "Oh, nice shirt."
Perfect. Well, it's funny because I got Ken's shoes, and I'm just waiting a couple years to then tell him I'm walking in your shoes. That's not that I'm going to be wearing them, but...
See, that's a good album title.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, Matt? Maybe I'll call... Because I was going to do the corner... Because like what I was doing with the Cornered Room, you have the two different takes, and then we have Ken doing another song. After the album's done, I was going to make a little EP. Maybe I should call it Walking in Your Shoes, because he'll get the reference. And then there's all the songs on there are Posies related to us. It's like I have Isolated Dew going on there because Frankie's on it. Arthur Roberts has been a million of my songs. He plays bass for your friend Jebb with us, so it's really cool working with him. Because I feel like he's like the odd man out one, because like you don't really hear much about him. Shout out to Arthur Roberts. We had our friend anniversary on Facebook recently, but we've interviewed him on Alternative Dudes. We'll probably bring him back for... another episode like this with our Jebb and Green name. But he's in your friend Jebb, and he's a great bass player. But he put the bass down. He's more of a guitarist now. And so we have tracks just sitting that we have his guitar on. And it's like, we need to do something with these, but I just don't know what to do yet.
Yeah, for real.
They're so phenomenal. And it's just so much fun. It's so cool, and it's great that we're back. We've been on a hiatus for like a couple of months, and just glad to have you as our first guest. Next up, guys, we have a little bit of a schedule, so we're trying to keep to it. Next up is John Hour, actually. We have him coming on.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, and then
surprise.
Yeah, I wanted to announce that, just a little excitement, because this is more of like a cool little episode. You know, you got Matt coming on, and then we also got a little bit of kind of an update mixed in one here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amanda Wilkins as well. And then I got in contact. If you guys know the band Dular, they're a Seattle-based band. Okay. Shane Tumarok? I don't know. I hope I said his name right. Shane,
I haven't heard of them, no.
Shane, you can sue me if I said your name wrong. Permission granted here. Shane Tumarok. He's going to be on. We're actually getting to do a spotlight on his new album, on the new Dular album. So very excited for that. I'm a huge Dular fan. New Old Friends is one of my favorite albums. So,
and you know, who
Tyler,
knows
I'll send that to you.
If the album which we're making is called Dysphagia.
Ooh.
If Dysphagia becomes a really big thing, maybe you guys can review all of it. You know?
Yeah. You know what?
Honestly,
our old show. So when we first started our first ever theme, because we were going to do this podcast differently. We were going to review song by song, and then it kind of just became, I'd rather just interview the artist. It's so much better. It's just the way the formatting. We actually interviewed at Solid States of song by song.
That's a wonderful record.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do a song by song segment. I wouldn't be against it.
I think that was probably the first time I actually met Ken and John was on that tour.
Yeah, same here.
And for me, it was after, because what they did was, it was kind of funny, because, like, I remember sitting in high school, because it was around when I was, like, that's what I were probably, like, 2017 was probably my senior year when that tour was, I'm thinking. I forget when that album came out. Was it 2016 or 17?
Might have been, no, I think it's 17.
17? Yeah, so it was, that's when I interviewed Ken, so it was around the same, Solid States was out as well. That was the first ever interview we did on this channel. And, and that's another thing, Tyler, I almost called you Owen there. Tyler, we should try to get Ken on for the both of us. But we've had John and Ken on talking Big Star with us, so that was really cool. But back in the
amazing, totally influential band. In
Space is actually like, I know it's like, if you're into Big Star, it's like In Space is kind of like a little later, everything. I love it because I just love the Posies. It's underrated by far. I just got it on vinyl and I'm very pleased with it. I'm like, this is a good album.
Personally, this is going to be a controversial take on my end, but I wasn't really that big of a fan of number 3, the third record, but I do like this one.
Okay.
All right. I love anything Big Star. Big Star could just like talk on a record and I'm freaking out. But But I got you, Tyler. Yeah.
Also, Lady Sweet is easily one of the best Big Star songs ever written.
Pretty good.
And that's cool that John's on it too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
See, I personally love Big Star 1 in radio. I feel like that's everybody though, but I do. Personally, just got the CD with the double Big Star number 1, and then
for me,
Radio City.
For me, it's a tie between Radio City and In Space.
In Space is good too. See, it's underrated without a doubt. But it's funny because it's like with Big Star, it's just like, and now everybody's probably getting into them because of the Stargirl movie. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people are going to get to know them now because of it, which Stargirl's from Disney Plus. It's a Disney Plus original, and she sings 13 in there with one of the other guys. I forget her name, the actress, but she sings 13 and Be True to Your School by the Beach Boys like twice in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, you got to check out Stargirl. It's a phenomenal film. It's just a good feel-good Disney movie.
See, Big Star's getting their due.
They are. They should have got their due a long time ago, just like Badfinger. Both of those bands underrated.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, it's so.
And everybody in Badfinger like died tragically.
The only one alive right now is Joey Molland, and he just released a really good album out last year. Was real good. I have the book, Without You, which talks about the whole... It's actually really hard to read when you start getting to the part where Pete starts going into what, Pete Ham is one of my influence. This is probably controversial, but I feel like a really spiritual connection to Pete Ham. Like, I want to be the next Pete Ham so bad.
Right. That's not... You know what? That's a goal.
Yeah, it is. I love him. I love... the fact that he could sit with an acoustic guitar and record so many demos. Well, the thing is, with him, it was the manager, all that stuff,
Right. That's the whole thing. Is like, like, do you want me to? Can I play something on air?
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I got an acoustic guitar here. So.
Sweet. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I could play. So I have a song called Big Star.
Ooh.
All right.
I like that.
Here I am, I here for you. Lovely words, 'cause I adore you. Here I rest my head on you. Lovely head for you upon. Hear me, Big Star. Hear me, Big Star. Hear me, Big Star. Hear me, here I'm here for you to draw to. Have yourself a new round. I am around and I'm
Woo!
Yes, bravo, man. That was great.
That was awesome. It kind of reminded me of like those early Kurt Cobain recordings, where he's just hanging out.
Hey, I don't mind that.
Hell yeah.
Not bad.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that'll go on anything. I mean, we
Awesome.
rehearsed as
Hey.
a band,
Put it
but
on
that might be
Hey,
an
we
exclusive.
could
World has to hear
advertise
this.
Matt Singh's exclusive song on Jebb and Green. All right. All right.
There you
Well,
go.
thank you for coming
Thanks
on
so
today.
much
Thank you
for
for letting us
having
us.
just
Yeah, wonderful.
vibe
Oh,
here.
man.
Sorry
Yeah,
if
we
we
were vibing, man.
talk too much, but
No, it was
that's
good.
the whole I love about our
Good. I-
podcast is there's no like format. We just chill.
If
We
I
have our
copy
interviews
and
and we just
follow
chill.
it with- So,
Yeah, we're
it's
one
all
of those
good.
shows that you could just come on anytime and just talk.
Yeah,
So-
we know
Wonderful.
it's still early where you are, man. So.
Yeah. So good morning.
Yeah, a little bit.
And good night.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah,
good
good night.
afternoon, and good night.
See you later. Sweet good
See-
night to all.
All
Peace,
right.
guys.